Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy, here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Homegirl.
and this is the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, where we try each week to bring you relevant information about real estate and home building. And this week, we've got a great show about mistakes to avoid as a home buyer or a seller.
You're listening to the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
So, welcome to this week's show. Let's get started, as we always do. Kim, what's been going on with you this week?
Well, we pretty much wrapped up the last week of summer.
Over.
And, summer actually wrapped up the first of the week, soaking in the last bits of summer there. But anyways, we sent our kids back to school this week. They're, we're in the grind again, back at it. But Emmett had his first day of high school.
Senior.
He's a senior.
Yeah, senior in high school.
Yep.
That's right.
And then Nora, she moved up to a bigger school, so
we had to drop her off. No walking in anymore.
And the biggest thing about that, it just is so full circle. But I don't know if you've seen my Facebook post, but the last time we were at that particular school, McBride, Emmett was a third grader. And, not the last time we were there, but the last time Emmett was in third grade and Nora had just been born. So I knew this day was coming because we, calculated it up, and it's here. It is here. Mm-hmm. So how about you? What's been going on with you?
Just working, trying to keep things going each and every day, trying to work some deals and stuff. I actually had an offer come in this morning, so that was good. Hopefully get that done.
Yeah, real estate is just so fluid. It just changes on a dime.
It does, and we had a lot of deals are on the same timeline right now.
Right.
In my portfolio or my deals that are going on, it's like everybody kind of got under contract at the same time. We're going through the process at the same time, and then now they're all getting ready to close. So it'll be great. We'll have a good week there, a payday, but it's just. When they stack up like that, it makes it a little more stressful.
Yeah, and it's still, people are in summer mode, traveling, and then trying to get everybody fit in to close is kind of, that's the issue you're facing too. So
of course, then we've been driving all over the universe trying to find Emmett a vehicle.
Literally states, 3 or 4 states, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, we drove about 500 miles over the course of 2 days.
Right.
But I think we got it put to bed. I think we got him something that's going to work. So
So
that being said,
he doesn't have to drive the house guy truck anymore.
Driving the house guy truck to school, yeah.
Yeah, so real quick before we get started, so he had senior sunrise Tuesday of this week.
Tuesday morning. Mm-hmm.
And, or maybe, Tuesday morning. And the tradition is that they paint their cars, or somebody paints cars for you to denote
paint your windows.
Yeah, paint your windows, my bad. To denote, I'm a senior, I'm here, so when they, on their first day of school, you see all these cars and it's senior. Well, then there's Emmett, whose truck blew up a couple weeks ago, and we've yet to find him the car that works for him. And so we've been letting him take John's truck, and of course John's tag says house guy, and so he did not get the silver house guy truck painted for seniors. So
hopefully he'll get us some leads from that though at the high school. That'd be good. We'll get some sales out of it.
If you're a senior driving the house guy mobile, you're doing pretty good.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyways, he didn't get it painted. But let's go ahead and dive into this week's show. So we're going to talk about mistakes to avoid as home buyers and sellers.
Yeah, mistakes that we see people make in the process of either trying to buy a home or sell.
And some things you just can't. That's where a good real estate agent will walk you through known mistakes that creep up and come, and it's just, a lot of times our, clients think, oh gosh, this is the end of the world, when this is a normal thing. This happens a lot. And so a good seasoned real estate agent will walk you through these mistakes that
Yeah, they've either made them
happen.
or they've seen other people make
Right,
them, and they know
help
how to
you-
fix it.
Right, and they help you to avoid these mistakes. So the first topic we want to talk about is unrealistic expectations in real estate transactions in general. Buyers and sellers may sometimes have an unrealistic view of what's going to happen, or goal that's what's going to happen, and that can create some unwanted stress. And such as their property value, if they think that it's one thing and it might be another, so you really have to look at market conditions in that, where the market is, and location. There's so many different things. So basically just be open as far as what your expectations are, because a good real estate agent will come in and walk you through that process, get you comps, discuss.
Well, they have the information to tell you.
Right, to tell you.
Because the unrealistic expectation is this, right? People listen to the national news or whatever, and then they think, okay, well, housing prices are up.
Right.
And then they think, okay, well, I can set my price here. It's unrealistic.
Right. And that's what I was talking, like location, you have to look at your location. Homes here are not home. It's not the same. Your same house in, California is not going to be the same price.
It's market specific,
Yeah.
right? And buyers make the same mistake. They hear people on the news talking about, the housing crisis or this, that. They think they can get a house for a foreclosure price. They're like, well, let's just offer $40,000 under. Well, that's unrealistic, right? And you need a good real estate agent to tell you, hey, we're not doing that.
Right. Because you're going to lose the deal.
You're going to make somebody mad. Or you're not. If you're listing it too high, you're going to not get anybody through the door.
Right.
And I'm here to sell your house or help you buy a house.
And both of those things have happened in the past. People sometimes, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're going to list your house at whatever you want to list your house for, because we're working for you. So if you want it listed at X amount of dollars, at the end of the day, no matter what advice a good real estate agent's going to give you, you list it for what you want to list it for. If you want to get foot traffic in there, and if you want to get a reasonable, good offer in a timely manner, then you listen to a good real estate agent on price.
And I tell people that,
Yeah.
do you want to list your house or do you want to sell your house?
Right.
Because we can
Those
list
are
it.
two different things.
Yeah, we can
Two
take
totally-
great pictures and we can write a
Right.
great description and we can put it on the internet and do all that. And it might make you feel good to have it listed. But if you want to sell it, you need to listen and be realistic
Right.
about pricing, about staging, about condition, about the things you need to fix. Don't be unrealistic,
Right. And real estate agents too, it's very important if they give you a price, they know what they're talking about, because we see it every day. We are looking at, just a list, a compilation of all the homes that are on the market, X amount of bedrooms for X price in this location, and comps and things like that. And so we know the market. We know the market
That's our job.
conditions. Yeah. And so, most of the time, if you do list it where, we think you should list it for, you're going to sell it usually in a timely manner.
Unrealistic expectations and as it pertains to time frame in closing, right? So in other words, if you're getting a loan, it's going to take time to go through that process, right? And if you're not, if you're selling your home and you think, well, I'm going to sell my home this week, I got to move to Florida or I got to move to wherever. Don't be unrealistic. You're not going to sell your house this week and get your money and be gone with a suitcase full of cash. It's not going to work. So be
cognizant of when it's, when it can close. But also back in 2005, when we did purchase our first home, I looked back and we made an offer, got a loan at 100% loan, made an offer and moved in within 2 weeks.
Right.
In 2005. Okay?
Yeah, that was the fog up a mirror, get a loan days.
Exactly.
Right?
Those days are over, y'all.
Yeah.
Even cash offers. Usually a cash offer is going to be the one that's going to push through the fastest, which, if you do get a cash offer, that's usually the best, offer to take on the table, because you can close in a more timely manner. But those days
still got to be realistic. Like
Exactly.
nobody's going to pull up in your driveway and give you a suitcase full of money and take your keys.
Correct.
It's not like a car. It
Right.
takes time to make the transaction.
Right. Yeah. So just be realistic of those.
So let's talk about the
goals.
next one. Adequate preparation for successful transactions. That's one of the things that a good agent can help you with, right? So getting your documents together. If you want to sell this thing and you want to sell it quickly, getting your documents together, like say you have may have a termite bond on your house. You may have some kind of warranty on your HVAC or your water heater or anything like that can help an agent, your roof, the age of your roof. Make sure you get all that stuff together and have that prepared.
Prior to, because those are going to be questions that will be asked.
Right. Yeah, and as a buyer, you need to understand that it's going to take time to get your inspection. It's going to take time to do all the things that need to be done to get to the closing table. And you need somebody who can help you navigate that entire process.
Yeah, that's where a real estate agent comes in. Oh, sorry. A real estate agent comes in. Oh, a real estate agent comes in to help you prepare those documents and walk you through that process. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it will be less stressful if a real estate agent does assist you in that. And also, selling your home or buying a house can be emotionally and mentally challenging, so a real estate agent can prepare you for those things and help you to avoid mistakes. We've had people in the past. I was just discussing this. We were going over this. When you sign a real estate document, when a signed offer is made and both parties sign it, buyer and seller, that's a legally binding document. You can't, if you get 2 weeks down the road and the buyers are, they're in the loan process, they've already got inspection money tied up, the bank has ordered the appraisal, and then you're 2 weeks in and decide, what, I really, really like my neighbors and I'm really close to the Publix down here. I think I'm just going to keep my house. You can't call up your real estate agent and say, I think I'm going to back out, because you can't back out because you have a legally binding document. It's not that easy. And so, make sure that when you do decide to sell, don't make the mistake of, being fickle in the fact that you want to take your house back off the market because, you had a wild hair one day and then you changed your mind the next.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we've seen a lot of things happen, and the biggest thing is this. It's a business transaction. You got to approach it that way. And so if you want to be successful at it as a buyer or a seller, you have to take the emotion out of it. Now, that's difficult to do because you're talking about your home, right? If you're living there and you're selling it, and then you're thinking, well, this is where I brought my baby home.
Right. So that's what I was just about to say. So talk about the emotional attachment that can creep in when you are selling your house. Say you need to sell this house because it doesn't fit your family's needs anymore. Or you need to sell this house because you're moving locations, and that a lot of times this happens. People get emotionally attached, and then that sometimes equates to they want to jack up the price or say, or they want to take everything.
So the problem people have is again, this is their home and they're emotionally invested in that property, right? They've seen their kids grow up there. They brought their baby home, whatever it is, and they're looking at it and going,
that staircase is where they took prom pictures and
this
first
is my
day
home,
pictures. Right.
And so now you've decided to sell it, right? And it's like a breakup almost, right? Like you've decided that no longer is this working for me. We got to move on. And it can be very positive, right? It is a very positive thing, but it's still, there's an emotional side of that. And there's an emotional side for buyers as well, as they're looking at it and going, oh, this is where I want to bring my baby home. These staircases would be great for taking prom pictures when they grow up. I got to have it. So they make mistakes of overpaying. Or waiving, or doing things that they don't need to do.
Right, waiving contingencies, overpaying, and then buyers do the same thing by holding out, because they think their home is worth X amount when the market is telling you elsewhere or, something different.
Yeah.
Also, I've had that change on me too, because I've had people come to me and say, I want to sell my house. Will you put my house on the market? Will you list it? And then they say list it for X amount of dollars, and I'm like, no. When I know they can get $30,000 more for it,
yeah, that's a good point. Like the emotional side of I have to sell,
right?
So I'll just do whatever. You need somebody to advise you and say, look, I'll do that, but I wouldn't if I was you. Take the money.
Right.
You can get more, and that's where you need a good agent to help you, right? No kidding. So, let's talk a little bit about number 3, the significance of market trends in real estate deals. So for me, the biggest thing in our area, we don't go a lot with the national market, huge swings up or down or anything like that. We stay pretty consistent. The biggest thing that affects home sales in our market right now, I think, is the time of the year, right? We have a busy season and a slow season, and that's nationwide, and then the interest rates, which are also nationwide. But schools really they gauge a lot of the home buying. You know, a lot of people want to be in a house by the time school starts. Mm-hmm. And then when the spring season warms up, you know, they start to put their home on the market so that they can move during the summer when school is out. So yeah, like right now, school started today, right, with the kids.
Right.
So
you're going to slow down.
You're going to look at it. Well, what it is, and I've done the research on that over a 5-year period. The biggest thing you'll see now is between now and the end of September is all the people who are still scrambling, like they wanted to sell or wanted to buy or whatever it is they wanted to do. And they'll either get serious about selling, like, oh, I'm going to reduce my price, mm-hmm. or the buyers will be like, okay, well, I'm going to accept this even though it's not perfect because I want to get moved. And that'll carry the market from August and September. And then when we get to October, you see a huge decline until February of the following year.
Or January-ish, you know, after Christmas. But now people are still selling during Christmas too. But, yeah.
January is typically the slowest month all year in our market.
Right.
And then people get their tax returns and the market starts picking back up in February.
Yeah, so the time of year is
and
now
what that's based on closings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so that's that. So
supply and demand, the interest rate, all those are significant to market trends. Right now, the interest rates are really, that's where we're seeing, you know, a decline in home sales because the interest rates went way high, and then, you know, the home prices had already kind of jumped at least 25%. And when you've got those two things going on, you've got a really, really, really big mortgage payment. So you need to kind of step back and gauge, okay, where am I? And talking about that, you know, people that were super picky back in 2021-ish, when all this was just crazy, homes were flying off the shelf pretty much, and you just had to make a decision right then. And all these people that were kind of holding out and being picky, you know, the market has pretty much passed them by as far as interest rates.
I mean, yeah, especially like one particular instance I think you're referring to. Buyers, right? Like I had a buyer who was like, hey, here's what I want.
I had a couple of buyers
that are like, this is the price, right? This is where I want to be. And it was like, I bet we looked at 20 or 30 houses.
Right.
And that 185 just kept going further and further out of reality, right? Like, oh, we want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for 185 or below.
And that 185 just kept ticking up.
And we kept looking and looking. Right. It was like, well, this one is 179, this one's 185, this one's 190, but you know what? And then now all those,
and they were flying off the shelf. Some they were just going and going and going, and
that baseline became 200.
Right.
So now, if you're thinking that's where you're going to be, you're not. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right. So you need to pay attention to the market trends, you know, and where the market is, you know, as far as interest rates, supply and demand, the economic factors, property values, and so on. You know, because don't let the market pass you by. And you know, those people are renting. I think all the people that we're talking about in situations, they're still renting. So stay informed. Go ahead, if you have any inkling that you want to buy, go ahead and contact a real estate agent now, and just discuss your options. All right, effective negotiation skills for home buyers and sellers. Negotiation. So a lot of people, they kind of clam up, you know, when it comes to negotiation, but a good real estate agent will walk you through this process and help you to avoid mistakes that home buyers and sellers make in the negotiation process. And our goal is for both parties, you know, both sides, to win. You know, we want a win-win situation going on, you know.
Yeah, and that's what people oftentimes think, right? In other words, they think, well, I can't take off this money because then I'm just giving in and I lose.
Right.
there's a realistic solution to every problem where both parties can walk away.
Can win.
And if
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
realistic and you're not emotional and you're
Right.
you're using the market research to go, okay, this is the right price or the right repair to make or whatever.
So going back, don't get emotionally or mentally or emotionally involved in it.
Right.
Take your emotions out of it, and then just stay mentally stable, through it. Stay open-minded. That's the biggest thing. You want to just be flexible and stay open-minded when you do get an offer or you make an offer. Look at the big picture, and then hopefully you and your real estate agent and the buyer and seller's real estate agent can come and agree upon a price.
Yeah, and that's where a good real
Or a
estate
deal.
agent is really key, right? Because they're almost like your therapist when you're dealing with this, right? Because you get emotional, and then
Right.
they have to talk you off the ledge and say, look, listen, you're getting the very best possible deal. I'm making sure of that for you.
Right.
I'm getting you the most money. I'm letting you do the least amount of repairs that the buyer will accept. I'm doing everything I can to keep everything together for
Yeah, because
you.
there's so much involved, y'all. Like there's so much involved in buying or selling a house. But a good real estate agent can make it, seem like not a cakewalk, but a walk in the park. I don't
Sure.
know, because there's so many things that can come up. There's things right now that, you're living in a house and you may not know of the things that need repair. If somebody looked under your house today, what are they going to find? And all that fear too. And then the same for like, if you were to buy a house, oh gosh, what is there in that house that I can't see with my naked eye? And so there's so many like checks and balances that along the way that can help you. And a good real estate agent can walk you through that process, a good home inspector. And then there's, as far as negotiation back and forth with a real estate transaction, once the repairs are found, then there's like what repairs are going to be made. And so just basically going back to the other point, don't get emotionally attached and just stay mentally stable, be open-minded and flexible during this whole process.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, with the negotiation, that being the point, realtors have a lot of experience doing that, and that's
yeah, we do it every day.
We do it every day. Everything is a negotiation in a real estate deal, so
Right.
there's that, So take a person who's got experience and then think win-win and find a solution that works for everybody, buyers and sellers, so that the deal moves forward, right? Because ultimately, our motivation for that is we want to get you to the closing table, make the transaction, get it all done so that you can move on to the next chapter in your life,
Right.
whether it's into your new home or out of your home.
And then same thing for the sellers, get them, get their mortgage paid and whatever other money they need.
Put some money in their pocket.
Yeah, and have them walk away, and everybody gets win-win, and but it's a delicate process, and a good real estate agent will help you to avoid mistakes on both sides, whether you're looking to buy a home or sell your home currently.
So let's recap all these. Number one, don't be unrealistic. Keep it real.
Right.
Just don't be stupid. Don't think you can buy a house for 50% of the cost. Don't think you can sell a house for 50% more than it's worth.
Or close on a house next week. So
Yeah, right. Be realistic. Keep your emotions in check.
Right.
There's going to be something along the way that is going to make you mad. Okay? You got to keep it real. You got to make sure, hey, this is something that we're going to work through. I'm not going to let my emotions train wreck the deal.
And then keep up with the market trends. Don't let the market pass you by. As far as interest rates, don't let them get out of hand for your budget, whatever your budget is. Stay informed. Find a good real estate agent and talk through, where you are financially and what you can afford, and don't miss the market. Stay up with trends.
Yeah.
And then effective negotiation skills. Make sure, that be reasonable, be open-minded, find a good real estate agent that can talk you through those negotiations on both buyer and seller side. It's negotiations. There's a fine art with, real estate agents are great negotiators, and they can help you through this process in order to avoid mistakes.
So that's the recap of everything. If you're in the Shoals area and you're looking for somebody to help you with all this stuff, we would love to be that person for you. If you have any questions, be sure to contact us, reach out. Thanks for listening to the show this week. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave us a rating and review, and we'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.